Lakeland Highland Scrub is a conservation area spanning 551 acres in South Lakeland, making it one of the largest undeveloped scrub properties on the Lakeland Ridge. Similar to the Lake Wales Ridge, this area used to be surrounded by water thousands of years ago. When the waters receded, the soil remained sandy, reminiscent of its coastline past. This park offers 4 natural communities for hikers to observe: scrub, scrubby flatwoods, xeric hammock, and freshwater marsh.
As you walk into the park, there are 2 trail options: a 2.2-mile trail called Tortoise Trail and the easy Shady Oak Trail, which is 0.6 miles. Shady Oak Trail travels through a xeric hammock, which is an evergreen forest on well-drained sandy soils. The understory is usually open, consisting of shrub characteristics of sandhill or scrub, depending on the origin of the hammock. These communities develop from fire exclusion, which allows for the establishment of an oak canopy. These can develop as a result of natural barriers or human intervention. The habitats surrounding this hammock are fire dependent.
Lichens are a mutualistic relationship between algae or a cyanobacteria and a fungus, which allows lichens to grow in some pretty inhospitable environments. The Christmas lichen, sometimes called strawberry lichen, grow on the sides of trees, typically in areas that get quite a bit of sunlight and often where there are lots of palmettos. They are an indicator of good air quality, so when you are out and about and you see them, be sure to take a deep breath of fresh air. The scrub is a plant-based community dominated by evergreen shrubs and frequent patches of bare white sands. Scrubs are often named for the dominant plant species, such as rosemary scrub and sandpine scrub. In this case, we are looking at a palmetto scrub. More than 24 threatened and endangered species, like the scrub jays, depend on the scrub. In South Florida, the interior scrub occurs in Lake Wales, Winter Haven, Lake Henry, Lakeland, and the Bombing Range ridges that span Polk, Osceola, and Highlands counties.
This community is fire dependent, requiring fires every 5 to 7 years. Naturally, the fires would start by lightning strikes. Fires are beneficial to these communities because they prepare the soil for seeding by creating an open seed bed, making nutrients more available for uptake and often killing plants that are invading the habitat and competing with native plants. This includes hardwood like oaks. Some of Florida's rare adapted animals and plants include the red-cocketed woodpecker, gopher tortoise, indigo snake, saw palmetto, longleaf pine, and cutthroat grass. Now, more often than not, fires are prescribed and performed under supervision. The Florida Forest Service issues 120,000 authorizations to prescribe burn over 2 million acres on average each year.
Perforate cladonia is a federally endangered lichen endemic to Florida high white sand scrub communities. This lichen grows in open, well-drained, and nutrient-poor soils that are associated with sandpine. Due to the increasing pressure for land development, Florida scrub, and therefore Florida perforate cladonia, continue to decline. Evans reindeer lichen is a fruticose lichen, meaning it is bushy and branched in its structure. It is composed of 94% carbohydrates and 6% acid, which makes it a good food source for caribou, moose, musk oxen, and of course, reindeer.
Freshwater marshes are non-tidal systems that are dominated by grasses, sedges, and emergent water plants. This marsh is periodically flooded, with the water levels fluctuating with the dry and rainy seasons. Right now, Polk County is on the tail end of the dry season, so the water level is very low. Because of this, it is not stocked with fish, making it a good place for frogs to lay their eggs. During the rainy season, this area would be full of wading birds, turtles, and some fishes. Common plants include American white water lilies, duck potatoes, and cattails. Some invasives, such as water hyacinth, water lettuce, and hydrilla, can also be found in this wetland. This is a true definition of an urban park. It is located close to a high school as well as suburban residential areas. It is bordered to the north by houses and to the east by Mosaic-owned land that is used for manufacturing agricultural chemicals.
Fire-adapted pines have 3 life stages. First, the grass stage. The first couple of years, the pine will stay close to the ground and grow lots of needles that hold water. During a fire, these needles protect the apical meristem from being damaged. At this point, they also start working on growing a taproot, which reaches down to the water table under the sandy soil. After a couple years, the tree will shoot up in what is called the boom stage. The boom stage sees the pine at 6 feet tall without any side branches, which put the crown of the tree above the fire line without any way of catching the branches on fire. This is a close-up of the apical meristem. The growth stages of the pine focus on protecting this apical meristem from fire because it regulates growth. If it is damaged, the pine tree will die. This is an adult slash pine. The horizontal branches are up high, which prevents a surface fire from turning into a crown fire. Notice, there are not other trees that are close by. This is to prevent the spread of a fire in case of a crown fire. This scrubby flatwood habitat can also be home to longleaf pines, whose life stages were just shown previously. They survive fire by the same principles as slash pine.
The prickly pear cactus is Florida's most common cactus and can be found in areas of pineland scrub forests or palmetto thickets along sandhills and on the side of coastal sand dunes. This plant is also commonly planted as an ornamental. Once a habitat is cleared by fire, prickly pear is often one of the first plant species to grow back. If one wanted, they could eat the beautiful scarlet fruit of the prickly pear. The taste is described as fruity, tangy, yet sweet.
Running oak is a medium woody scrub with underground stems. It is a frequent but somewhat uncommon understory shrub in scrubby flatwoods. It can be anywhere from 3 to 6 feet high, but is usually broader than it is tall.
Sentinels are the only species of lizard that is native to the United States. They are found from Florida all the way to the Carolinas. They mainly reside on the trunks and crown of trees, but have been outcompeted by brown anoles. Black racer snake is one of the most common non-venomous snakes in the southern United States. They are normally found in forested areas, brushes, thickets, and fields. Black racers are active during the day and are known to be great swimmers and climbers and can move at incredibly fast speeds. They prey on insects, moles, birds, smaller snakes, lizards, rodents, and most frogs. The greatest threat to these snakes are humans. A large majority of these snakes are killed by vehicles. Black racers are also commonly confused for the venomous water moccasins, so it is not uncommon for them to be killed out of fear.
The sand of the scrub is a good place to see tracks, but they can also be distorted by the wind. Here we present our interpretations of the tracks we observed. Here we have a snake. Here we have a deer mouse. Here we observed a bird of some sort. And here we found armadillo tracks.
Wild hogs are an invasive animal species that have taken over Florida. Hernando de Soto introduced these hogs in 1539, and now they can be found in all of Florida's 67 counties. They can live in a variety of habitats, but prefer oak, cabbage, palm hammocks, freshwater marshes and sloughs, pine flatwoods, and open agricultural areas. Wild hogs usually travel in small family groups or just by themselves. They feed on a variety of plants and animals and are known to eat just about anything. One of the biggest problems with hogs is their disturbance of soil and ground cover vegetation. They root around in the ground and leave the area looking like it's been plowed. Preventing these hogs from entering your property can be difficult, but adequate fencing should keep them out.
Gopher tortoises are reptiles that live in upland scrub habitats throughout Florida, in forests, pastures, and even in yards. They have shovel-like front legs that allow them to dig burrows that can be 10 feet deep and 40 feet long. These burrows provide shelter from the sun, stable temperature and humidity, as well as protection from predators. Over 350 other species utilize these burrows in some capacity, making gopher tortoises a keystone species. The majority of the 800,000 total population resides in Florida. In the state of Florida, gopher tortoises are threatened, but the turtles themselves and their burrows are protected by state law. Lichens are always crunchier than I imagine.
Yeah, they kind of look soft and
Like pillowy.
yeah.
But they're crunchy. I had a slime mold growing in my car that was crunchy.
Really?
Yeah. I think I picked it up from when we went to the Everglades on the camping trip.